guys. Here we are, episode 2. We made it. I'm Gigi Lou. I'm here with Franklin Salas and with Tracy Williams Barnett. Did I say it right?
You did. Thank you so much.
Don't forget that modern woman's full name.
I would never. It would be scary. Don't mess with a modern woman.
There's a story behind it, but we can talk about that at another day and time.
Well, it's cool that we are back and we did our homework for episode 2. So, Gigi, what are we going to be talking about today?
Oh, is this a pop quiz?
You better know what we're talking about
We
today.
did just talk about it 2 minutes ago.
According to my Zoom, it was 59 minutes.
Well, we are talking about real estate stuff that's happening in New York, right? Because that's what this whole show is about, is New York real estate.
No, we are in the DMV, and I can't believe I'm actually defending that.
And we love some New York, right, Franklin?
Yeah, we love some New York.
Well, it's related to New York and DC. I think it's actually related to everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think any city that has any sort of attraction and draw is realizing that there needs to be some sort of Airbnb regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And, sorry, that's my phone that I thought I put in Do Not Disturb. Airbnb regulation.
We're
And
professionals.
and Franklin, you read a really interesting article about New York Airbnb.
Yeah, so Tracy and I were talking about this the other day, where there are actually more Airbnb listings in New York City than actual rentals for people to live. And I think that's just like a incredible sign of the times where, you know, people are buying investment properties. And I think because there are so many laws that sort of make it unfun for, is unfun a word?
You can make it a word.
I saw a word today.
Mm-hmm.
Not as fun to be a landlord and renting long term versus running a short term rental situation like Airbnb.
I think it's about the money, right? Because you can charge more for a furnished apartment, and but it's a lot of work. So I'm not sure why it's more prevalent, other than maybe that people are just renting out rooms or their basements of their homes, typically like what they would do here in DC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty sad as it relates to housing availability for people who are really in need.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this isn't even just a shortage that I'm seeing in places like DC or surrounding areas. I'm seeing it in rural Virginia, and that's actually where I think it's the worst. Because
Rural Virginia.
yeah, I mean, you would think like, wow, there's so much land out there, like just build a house. Well, number one, building a house is expensive. The
Right.
costs have gone up, which means also that the cost of land has gone up. So I just see a lot of families, like, so my husband and I, we own a rental property, and when we put it up for rent on Facebook, I think in one day we got almost like 400 messages asking.
And this is a traditional.
This is like a very simple house. It is not.
No, I mean like
fancy.
the lease terms were like.
Oh yeah, 12-month lease. 1 month deposit. I mean, really nothing out of the ordinary. And yeah, I mean, we were already stretching what we thought market comps were by like maybe a couple $100s, and the amount of interest that we got was overwhelming. And people were like, we'll give you the full year right now, or we'll pay more and give it to you like upfront or 6 months upfront. I mean, it's so crazy because people are so desperate. But when I look at their incomes, there's no way that they could they can afford the rent at a minimum, but you have to pay for utilities, you have to pay for food, like your car, and there's no way that they would be able to support that. But they were just so needing to get into a home.
Yeah.
I remember when I was renting apartments in New York City, and I'm telling you, it's like, I don't even know what to, like, it is.
A shoebox?
It is Crash Bandicoot out there. All right, because you have to know somebody. Like New York,
You gotta know
like,
somebody who knows
I've always said
somebody.
that New York is who you know. You come to DC, it's like, what have you done? And when I was in New York and 20-nothing years old, and I was looking to rent my first apartment, and I got an agent, and I'm like, what do I need? And he's like, you need first month, you need last month, you need security deposit, and then there's my commission. And it's like, by the time you add up everything, you're basically putting a down payment on a house for like an FHA loan or something because it's so damn expensive. And then on top of that, they want you to have 10 times the
amount of your monthly rent.
And I'm like, sis, have you seen how old I am? I don't even know how to count that much money.
Not only that, you can pay over. So I never knew this until I became a realtor, that you can give over the asking, over the list for rentals. I knew
No,
that was in the housing market.
Absolutely not.
But in the rental market as well.
Get out of here.
And it's happening now in DC.
No.
Yes, because I was looking for a property for a diplomat, and they were willing to spend.
You see how bougie it is?
I worked with a diplomat.
diplomat.
And he was willing to pay over asking.
No, they really are, because
I
a
believe
certain
you.
type of home
Because it
are
ain't their
limited.
money. It's their government's money.
It's the
Meanwhile,
government.
everyone back home is eating cheese every 2 weeks.
No, but it's limited in a certain type of home. A whole house with 4, 5, 6 bedrooms. And so it's in high demand. So people are actually giving them extra, saying, hey, I'll give you $100, $200 over your monthly amount that you're asking, just to get their application accepted. And so that's just
too much. I'm too insecure to deal with that. I feel like I'm a nice person. You're a nice person. Let's be nice together. Let me be your tenant.
It's also like, you don't want to ask for too much up front, because if you do that, your tenant's going to be really difficult during the whole length of that lease. Once they're locked in, they're locked in.
Yeah.
And you want it to be a mutually, understanding, situation where everyone's happy.
That's the ideal situation, right?
Yeah. It's like I'd sacrifice
on
a few
wood.
$100s to have a tenant that never calls me.
Yeah, but the bad part is if they don't call you, and then you have something called deferred maintenance.
Oh, no. Well, yeah. There is that. But you got to do your homework too.
You gotta do
you
your
gotta
homework.
plan your walkthroughs. Like,
I feel like you're like a walking appendix.
What do you mean? Me?
Deferred
maintenance.
deferred maintenance.
Can you define deferred
Well, I'm a
maintenance,
landlord,
please?
and I'm an
she's-
investor, and I buy properties.
Bougie again.
And that's a problem when you're buying properties and you think you found a fantastic potential investment product or property, and there's a lot of deferred maintenance because the tenants in there are afraid to call the landlord when something breaks, when something
This
leaks.
happens to you a lot?
No, they know better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up with my parents. I keep saying my parents, but my mom is the one who runs the roost around this place. I am a very active feminist because of my mom.
Ooh, love it.
Women
so
do rule the world.
it was I grew up living in a mother-daughter. You guys know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
It's
in New
pretty
York,
familiar.
yeah.
It's pretty popular in New York.
Is it like a duplex?
So
or-
it's a one-family, single-family home with a smaller apartment upstairs or somewhere in the.
I've seen one in DuPont Circle actually, and I love.
So they call it a mother-daughter because if you have a spinster daughter who ain't getting no dates.
Well, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it would be that you don't want to put your mom in the basement because that's rude, so you put her upstairs.
I don't know if there is a second floor basement rule for it being a mother-daughter, but our mother-daughter, the mother unit, was upstairs.
Got it.
It still is. And these tenants, and I mean, I had to be 10, 11 years old. These tenants were sent from hell. Straight up Satan.
Oh, no.
Like Satan's cousin came to live with my family.
Oh, no. Somebody didn't do their homework.
It was a 1-bedroom apartment, and then I guess like 2 months later or something, her entire family moved in.
Oh.
And when I say her entire family, her cousin, her sister, her mother, her father, and it was like and you're basically sharing a house with somebody because it's not like a tenement building where between the floors is like, soundproof and all that stuff. And this one day my mom came home from work and she saw this tenant, the one person who was supposed to live in this 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, very small apartment. She got locked out because clearly there was only one key for the apartment. She got locked out, so she decided to take a ladder,
Oh, no.
7 months pregnant, to put it against the house to walk to get to the second floor to get inside the apartment.
Where did she get a ladder from?
Our backyard.
Okay.
So she
You
was
just had a ladder
Well, why didn't she
laying
call one
around?
of her
Yeah.
100 other family members that were living
Or
there?
call
to
your
because
learn?
they probably only
mom.
had one damn key.
And what
They're not
hap-
supposed to call my mom because they're not supposed to live there.
What happened to the application process?
Sis, this
happened
is
to
19.
vetting?
This is 1988. You got an agreement with a spit in your hand and a handshake.
Right, exactly.
So my mom was like, "What the hell are you doing? Get the hell down from the ladder." She doesn't want to scare this woman because she's pregnant on a ladder.
Of course, yeah.
And the eviction process started after that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was gonna say that can't last
Oh no.
long. Well, I'm sure that makes a really great Airbnb.
Well, I have an Airbnb situation that I'm going through right now with a client, and
I have a public service announcement about
Oh, what?
Airbnb, but tell your
Okay.
story.
Okay. So he said, "Hey, I am looking for a rental." I said, "Fantastic. What is your criteria?" He told me he's looking in DC. He gave me the monthly amount that he's willing to spend. And then he said, "But make sure they offer corporate leases." I said, "Okay. So what is your definition of corporate leases?" Because I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. And so, long story short,
Oh, I thought you were asking me because I'm like, I have no idea.
exactly, and that's why I
didn't know
asked him. I wanted
had
to
quiz
know,
time.
like, what does that mean to you? I don't know if that's a term he picked up somewhere. And so, basically, he wants to Airbnb it out. He wants to rent it from the landlord for 12 months, and then he wants to go behind the landlord's back and Airbnb it out. And
That's very common.
it's very common.
Very common.
But I warned him. I said, most of the places in your price range that you're looking for will be basically a condo or a condominium or a smaller three-unit conversion. I said, but, if it's a big condominium, they have rules in place. No Airbnbs, no VRBOs.
I'm actually seeing a lot more places
Condos don't allow that.
becoming flexible on it
Where?
because
Not in DC.
yeah,
No.
But that
Because-
changes their insurance structures. That's a big
Yeah,
reason
they
why
don't want the
don't
in and
allow.
out, and
When they
it
when
puts
the-
it at risk.
Exactly. When they underwrite those buildings, those insurance companies are asking, do you allow short-term rentals? Because that's a different liability. But if I were that landlord and I found out my tenant was doing that,
Out, right?
no, I'd be like, I want 50%.
Well, see, you have to.
Otherwise,
put
I'm
in
going
the
to sue you for everything.
you're not hating the game.
Well, I warned
Nor are
him.
you hating the player.
I said, please.
I got to pay more insurance, but I'm okay with this as long as I make more money.
I'm like, don't do this. Be upfront with the landlord. Don't try to do it on the sly.
yeah.
Be communicative. And I can take a step further and dig into the condominium and look at the rules and regulations to see if they allow it. That way you don't waste your time. You know what? He said he doesn't care. And so it really bothers me. I feel conflicted because,
That's just careless.
I just feel like he's not going to do the right thing. And so do I want that kind of business?
I wouldn't work with him.
Yeah, thank
honestly.
you.
I just
Yeah,
think that's
'cause that comes
that's
back to you.
really risky.
I
and
think
it
so,
puts your
too.
reputation on the line.
I'm not having it either. So that's where I am with that one.
Are you Airbnb or hotel?
I'm hotel.
I'm a hotel too. I like
I have only
luxury.
I've only stayed in one Airbnb in my entire life.
Did you like it?
It was sort of like a last minute, not many options left.
But they
Yeah.
can be fun, right?
I don't like looking at Airbnb listings because here's my thing. Why do they have patterned bedspreads on there?
Yeah, no. Airbnb owners,
Keep it
please,
white.
Keep it all white. And I know
I need
it's
to know that
way-
Clorox went on that sheet
Right.
It's
and
hard
clean-
to maintain, but
and
you
clean-
have to go white.
and clean the last guest boogies off.
I agree. I run a furnished rental and I have white towels, white sheets, white everything.
I just want to know that Clorox can go in there and destroy anything,
Any organism.
anything that may or may not have happened.
Even if it bleaches that pubic hair.
Ooh.
At least it's been bleached.
I mean, you really
It's
went.
no longer black, it's blonde.
You really went to pubic hair.
You're just mad Gigi beat you to the punch.
I mean, I was not even thinking of pubic hair.
Oh, well, now he'll never stay in an Airbnb.
and
No,
wait a
I
minute.
just think it's nasty. I just feel like it's a little nasty,
No,
and I'm
there's-
not.
But hotels can be nasty too.
Oh, totally.
Um,
They totally can.
I was in a hotel once and my girlfriend caught the housekeeper, the cleaning person actually, putting her rag in the toilet and taking the water and wiping the seat with it.
I would have no.
Yes.
That's a bold,
I would be in the jailhouse.
She got caught.
because you would have puked on her.
I would have been in the jailhouse.
Right.
You would be visiting Franklin.
My
with
girlfriend went ballistic. She let him have it. We got new rooms, new everything, free stay.
I dated someone who loses their mind if there's like the smallest thing wrong in the hotel.
Like they go overboard for no reason.
No, but like goes to like straight, I'm going to get a whole new room. We're going to upgrade me.
It's
and
one of those people.
I'm going to have breakfast by the time we wake up. Like it's accommodations are being upgraded.
Wow, that's nice. Maybe I'll travel with you next time.
No, don't.
Free upgrades.
Travel with him.
Tracy, why do you prefer hotels over Airbnbs?
I just like to be spoiled and feel like I'm getting away, and I like the service. We work so hard, Gigi, in our industry and our line of work.
Franklin, just the two of us.
Right, just the two of us.
I didn't
We
want
work so hard.
to say anything, but
We work so hard, Gigi.
Meanwhile, I'm over here hustling like
You go stay in your Airbnb with your bleach sheets. We're gonna get room
And your
service.
blonde pubic hairs.
I do not. All right, I'm going to ban the word pubic. The word
Wait.
pubic hair.
Last episode, you were talking about toes. So now you want to ban pubic hairs?
All right, I don't want to hear those two words ever again.
Thank you.
Ever
All
again.
right. Well, I totally agree, Tracy. I really have grown to love hotels because I really enjoy the resting part of it.
Yeah.
I think when I was younger, I really didn't care. I wanted all the experiences. You know, like I spent as little time as I could in the room to just go out and enjoy myself, which I still do when I'm traveling. But there's something really beautiful about like going
Being spoiled,
being
right?
spoiled. You walk into a room that's been, you know, technically meticulously cleaned,
It's
minus
been
that
cleaned.
one time.
Minus
That-
toilet water.
toilet water.
I mean, that's what happens when you stay in a motel. So
Ooh, no, you didn't.
I hope your friend's not listening, Tracy. Good thing we didn't name drop.
And she's a New Yorker, too.
She's coming for you. She knows your name. You don't know hers. So you don't know who to look for.
it don't matter.
Oh, he's not scared.
I'm not scared. I live in a concierge building. Get past Shantae. I'll see what happens. I dare you.
I love room service. I love comfy beds. I love robes.
I've never put on those robes.
He's saying that with a really disgusted look on his face.
Because you know the last person put them on.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, they also slept in those sheets and
They washed them with
used
Clorox.
that same toothbrush
Are you
that
sure?
you took from the. No, I'm just kidding.
It says. Like I'm going to use someone else's toothbrush.
Like you haven't before.
No.
You've
In
never
your life.
forgotten your toothbrush and used. a
Yes,
hotel
and you get up early and you do your walk of shame to CVS and you keep it moving.
Okay.
And be putting someone else's nasty.
I've
ass
used
toothbrush.
somebody's toothbrush once or twice. I'm not proud of it, though.
See,
It's kind of
you
gross.
see this regret you have right now.
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
have
do.
that.
I do.
I'm not going to
a little
comment on
hot.
that.
I don't know if it's the rosé. We're drinking rosé, guys.
Tracy is so sweet. She brings us canned rosé, which has an adorable picture of a dog on it.
It's rough. Rough day.
Rough day, and it's got a straw and a napkin.
You know, anything for you.
Oh boy, here comes this love fest again.
And Gigi doesn't drink much at all, but I got you one just in case.
Well, you're the sweetest, and I needed it today, so it was perfect.
No, it's good
So
stuff.
what else is new?
What else is new? I mean, I finished Selling Sunset yesterday.
Final. Oh,
Yeah,
the reunion.
yeah, I watched the reunion.
The
That was
reunion
crazy.
really good.
Let me tell you something. I never thought I was going to cry during the reunion.
Wait,
You
who
cried
was- over
too?
what? Who?
When they were talking about Chriselle and
Out of here.
Jason, his name's
Did you-
Jason.
Oh, you know
Did
what? I
take
did
the
tear
same-
up.
Do you go to the same acting coach?
No,
that
no.
Jason goes
I
to?
now
teared
it's
up
coming back.
too?
I did. It was kind of sad.
It was.
He was taking it hard.
He was taking it hard, and they didn't break up because they didn't like each other.
No, they clearly loved each
They
other.
I think they still do.
Emotional. Yeah.
But he's just like, I don't want to have kids. And I've been on dates with guys, and I think this was one time, it was like our second date, and he's like, what are the top 3 things you want to achieve in your life? And I'm like, all right, here we go. He must be a recruiter. And I think one of the things that I said was have kids. And he's like, you really want to have kids? And I'm like, yeah, this is one of the top 3 things that you asked me to answer.
That's a pretty easy answer right there.
And he's like, I don't want kids. And I go, okay, can we finish our sushi?
Well, yeah.
Or can I get a box?
Can I get this to go?
I think he thought he could have a child with her, but as time went on, he realized it really wasn't for him. And it was sad because, I was tearing up, Franklin. I
was not happy about it, but I understood it. However, my hatred for your girl, Christine,
it's still deep.
It is only deeper after that thing that she did with the
commission
the
thing.
commission thing,
that was
where
really bad.
where she was like,
I'll give you like $5,000
from Emma.
if you.
She said it wasn't true.
Let me tell you something. I don't believe a word that comes out of that trifling hussy's mouth. She is.
Why did she have to be a hussy?
Okay.
She's a married woman with child.
She's a garbage truck. I think she's probably
No.
like one of the worst humans on the planet.
Wow.
She
And
is a mean girl.
she's a nasty woman.
Yes.
She's
a
disgusting.
mean girl.
I agree that what she did regarding the commission. So she had said that if this one seller developer, if she gave him $5,000, that then to give her the listing, and Emma had found out through her client.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's terrible business. It's very bad business, and we don't do that. None of us here would ever do anything
Never.
like that.
I'm disgusted
And we
by
would
it.
never work with another agent that would behave that way. So I agree. But
Not the butt.
devil's advocate, I listened to a podcast where she was a guest.
And she's not the best guest either.
Did you listen to it?
I watched her on Watch What Happens Live.
Okay.
And she was a little dusty.
In what way?
She just like had stupid answers, and she wasn't fun. She was
She's
kind of
definitely not as she's definitely trying to play like
the villain.
The
villain.
innocent.
No,
The
no,
innocent.
the innocent.
No.
The innocent
Yeah.
villain.
the innocent villain.
She came across as a little bit of a Stoops.
I didn't find her to be that way in the podcast I listened to. I didn't watch Watch What Happens Live, but she told her story. And look, we don't
What
know
is the story?
what is true and what isn't. But she told her story of how she grew up. She grew up in a really, really conservative household where she wasn't allowed to do anything. She wasn't even allowed to like go to the store with her parents. She was home.
So you
Franklin's
feel
like, "I don't
sorry
believe
for
it."
her.
No. But then, and she came from like a small town. So she started then going out, and she's very open about how she like found her sugar daddy, and she started like loving material items and all that. So she's very open about that. But
I'm laughing at the look on Franklin's face.
I have no patience for
To
her.
our listeners, he is
But to
doing
wrap
major
this-
side eye.
to wrap this up, because Franklin is so over this conversation.
No, I'm over Christine.
Christine. Well, she was talking about how the producer of that reality show of Selling Sunset is the same producer that produced The Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And that
could tell.
recently there's been a lot of truth that's been released by Spencer, who dated Heidi. Yeah. And how crazy the editing was that totally shifted
Oh, okay.
all of these storylines, and how she said that they openly talked about how she was going to be the villain and what the storylines were and how they shift things.
So
that
she
make
just played the
things-
part.
And she was like, I don't care. She was like, there needs to be a villain. People are talking about me. This is a show. This is entertainment.
It helped her.
And without
she
her,
made money
she
off
was
of that.
literally on she was on every single scene. So without her, there's really no drama. There's no show. So yeah, she's a villain, but she's
There
entertaining.
will be a show without her.
Unless Franklin
right?
steps in and takes her spot.
Well, I cannot. First of all, I was actually thinking about this. I was wondering, how would I fit into this office? in Selling Sunset.
You would need to shrink yourself.
I would
and
have-
become one of the Jason.
I would have to stop
Oppenheimer.
eating for 2 years.
Yes, you would.
I would have to go
too.
into massive amount of debt
Oh yeah.
buying
Your fashion game has to be on point.
like I can't you can't like just float by.
Wait, guys, let's talk about Chelsea. No one is talking about her.
Mm,
Woman of color on there. I was proud of
I
them.
do love that they have. Well, she's not the only.
She's
woman
not the
of-
only one,
we
but
have
she's
some Latinas
chocolate.
there.
She's
Yes.
super chocolate,
And I mean, she is very. I do love that she is positioning herself. So I mean, but it's almost so strategic and
Yes.
so.
who
that-
used who? Christine used her, or she used Christine?
both. I think it's
Yeah.
a two-way street.
I think it's two
I do-
ways.
I think that Christine thought she was going to be able to use her more, but I don't think
Right.
she actually added anything for Christine at all.
Nope.
No, she actually revealed that Christine's a liar,
Yeah.
and
And now she's friends with Chriselle, right?
yes,
And some of the other women
yes,
on the show.
because she's bullshit.
So is she coming back?
Who?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think so. But the only thing I can't get over are her boobs. Like
Oh my God, they're
they
gross.
got bigger in the reunion.
Oh, they were
they're
gross.
too big. She's a beautiful girl. She does not need all that.
Yeah, it was too much.
I don't know that I have an opinion on
Her boobs.
Boobs.
on her.
On
Oh,
her.
okay.
Yeah, I think she's still really new and green, but I did find her a little irritating. But I am glad that there is a woman of color, and especially in real estate at that level.
Yeah, she came back. She used to be in the industry, and then she had a baby and came back full force, and she delivered. So we got to give it
The
to
baby?
her. And her fashion game was kind of up there with Christine, though.
So
She's the only one that could go toe to toe with Christine.
okay, so I have to add something in because so watching it on Netflix, and I'm see the reunion, which is the end of this season, right? And then Netflix does that thing where it's like, next episode. And I'm like, well, what's the next episode? I thought this was the end of it. It loops me back to the first episode for the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, let's go back and see this. And so it's Mary, who else is there? I forgot.
All the
Heather.
girls except for Amanda, Chriselle, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, and the other girl, the Mexican beauty who was online dating.
Oh, yeah, I loved her.
So
actually.
you go from season 6 reunion to season 1, episode 1.
It's a
hilarious.
big difference, right?
It's
I
like
mean,
embarrassing for
It's
them.
embarrassing for them because they went from like Gucci to Kohl's in like seconds.
I hope that's not us with our podcast.
No, but I mean, if this
We
is,
want to go from Kohl's to Gucci.
I'm always
right?
going to tell you that this is going to be our worst episode ever. It only gets better from here.
Exactly.
It's
But like they were wearing like basic ass clothes that compared to
Oh yeah.
what they were wearing.
I
Not
agree.
judging anyone's clothing choices. Maybe I am internally, but there's a drastic difference between season 6 and season 1, episode 1.
I agree. I want to get into it. We're going to talk more about Selling Sunset in our next episode, about all the fashion and the changes between season 1 and season 6. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you guys.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.